Alright, so first things first, to kick off today's cannabis-powered yet sports-driven talk show. It's hard to deny the positive effect that cannabis has had on sports in the past and sports today as we know it. Cannabis is a part of sports whether you like it or not.
The Fantasy Football Huddle, presented by the Huddle Chat Sports Show and your host, Dallas Clark, also known as Indo is my Nindo. Everybody huddle up, grab a piece of paper, and get settled in. It's just about time for the Fantasy Football Huddle, presented by the Huddle Chat Sports Show and your host, Indo is my Nindo. Let's get it started, baby.
What is happening, baby? Welcome back to the Huddle Chat Sports Network's very own Fantasy Football Huddle. Let me make sure I got some volume. Looks like we got our volume and everything is going good to start the episode. How's everybody doing on such a beautiful morning? And we're having another one of those Sundays where we got football from sun up to sundown and beyond. We got these games going on in Germany. Right now, you got the Chiefs playing the Dolphins. Before I got on, it took me a little longer to get on than I wanted to because I was watching that Dolphins last drive just a moment ago. So the Chiefs-Dolphins game is 21-7 last I checked. Let me make sure there's been no changes to the games. How's everybody doing today? Let's get that chat going. Don Clark, good morning to you. Let's see here. Did that Cedric Wilson Jr. touchdown not count? Looks like it still says 0-21 for some reason. I think it must not be updated yet. She said, this game is going good for me. I'm glad for you for that for sure, because I know I'm playing against Patrick Mahomes. It's definitely been kind of a disappointing game so far this morning as far as fantasy football output goes. Just because, I know I got Raheem Mostert and Jalen Waddle. Things haven't been going extremely explosive for those two yet. Patrick Mahomes has thrown the 2 touchdowns, but really hasn't done much else besides that. It's been kind of a boring game as far as fantasy goes. I'm sure Chiefs fans are having a badass time this morning. Like I said, it was 21-7 last time I checked, if that Cedric Wilson Jr. touchdowns actually counted. We're going to do a couple things today. Today's going to be kind of an action-packed live episode, so you definitely chose the correct one to tune in today. We're going to be doing our startups and sit-ems, kind of a condensed version of our startups and sit-ems, still getting into the hurt business as we like to do, and then we're going to be doing some bets as well. So we got all kinds of good things going on for you guys today. For y'all that are checking us out on Facebook and Twitch, welcome to the show. Thank you so much. Make sure you stop over to YouTube. And for everybody that is on YouTube, or when you get to YouTube, make sure you subscribe to the channel if you're new to the channel. So everybody, if you know how we do it, we like to do it over here. Let's smoke them if you got them. Fill up your cups, roll something up, and let's get right into the news. You said that Cedric Wilson touchdown did come back. That sucks for the Dolphins. Can you actually let me know what's going on in the game? Just because I'm watching, because like I said, last thing I saw was that touchdown. So I thought that it was 7:21. So let me know if anybody scores or anything that happens in that game. Thank y'all ahead of time for that. Now let's see here. Make sure you're following us on social medias as well. You guys see that. All right, so let's get into some things. Let me pull up my startums and situms really fast. I was going to do it earlier this week, guys. I had some crazy stomach issues going on. I don't know what was happening. I had some stomach pain all week long that I really I couldn't get over. So give me just 1 second. I'm pulling up my startums and situms right now for everybody. All righty here. So let's see. All righty. So as far as our week 9 starters and situms, I'm going to do things a little bit differently. Like I said, we're going to do kind of a condensed version today. So we're going to start with our wide receivers. My start of the week at wide receiver is going to be Garrett Wilson for the New York Jets against the Los Angeles Chargers on Monday Night Football. He's been on a nice hot streak these last couple weeks. He scored 17 or more points in each of his last 2 games, and he's also put up 15 or more in 3 of his last 4 games. This Chargers defense is a positive matchup for wide receivers. Their defense is allowing the second most points to perimeter wide receivers, and it's Monday Night Football, so you know he's going to have to show out. He does run most of his routes out on the perimeter, so he does have top 15 potential at wide receiver this week. So if you did have doubts about starting Garrett Wilson, don't. I'm also starting Scary Terry McLaurin. I've been back on the Scary Terry train. She said still 21-7, Fins driving Mahomes fumble. Love that. And everybody that's playing against Patrick Mahomes loves that as well. Now, back to Scary McLaurin. Like I said, I've been on the Scary Terry McLaurin train. He's kind of gotten his shit together over these last 3 or 4 weeks. He's caught fire in the last couple weeks. He scored 14 or more in the last 3 straight games and in 4 of his last 5 overall. He's been targeted 32 times in the last 3 weeks, and I would keep him active against the Patriots. Their defense is not the same defense that it used to be. There's nothing really to fear when it comes to wide receivers. They've allowed 10-plus points 11 times through the first 8 weeks, including 5 wide receivers that put up 17 or more on them. So Scary Terry McLaurin, I'm definitely plugging him in today. I'm also plugging in Nico Collins, and I've been telling people about this all week that have actually asked me in person. Nico Collins has been tough to trust these last few weeks. It seemed kind of right when you were ready to start trusting Nico Collins and plug him and play him in your lineup is really when he started letting you down. He's been tough to trust, but he scored 7 or less in 2 of his last 3 games. I do like him to rebound this week, though. He's playing the Buccaneers. That's given up 189 receiving yards and the 8th most fantasy points per game to wide receivers. I would also consider starting Tank Dell if you're like in a deep league. But Nico Collins is definitely going to be a real safe start today. Somebody I'm actually excited about, and we're going to be talking about in my betting situation later, is going to be Zay Flowers. He's coming off his worst game of the season this last week. He scored just 6.9 points in PPR in the win over the Cardinals, and he did see 7 targets, so you like the volume that he got. However, I would definitely like to see him, because he's got 32 over the last 4 games. I want to see him active against the Seattle Seahawks. They're allowing the 9th most points to wide receivers and the 2nd most points to slot wide receivers this season. And Zay Flowers runs 73% of his routes from the slot position. So I like Zay Flowers today, and I definitely think he scores a touchdown. Like I said, we're going to talk about him in the betting lines a little bit later today. I also really like starting Demario Douglas for the New England Patriots. You've heard me talk about him. Puka Nacua is active today, so I'm going to be starting him. And I'm also starting Jacoby Myers against the Giants. As far as players I'm sitting, Elijah, I hope you're listening. I'm sitting DJ Moore this week. He's seen his stats decrease in the last 3 weeks. He scored 32.9 points after scoring 50. Oh, hell yeah. Rushing touchdown scored by Raheem Mostert. Let's fucking go, y'all. Perfect time for that to happen. Sorry that ESPN notification was kind of fucking loud. I don't know what the hell. Anyway, DJ Moore, I'm sitting DJ Moore this week. He put up 49 points that one game. We all know the one game I'm talking about. Me and my friend Elijah have had conversations. And earlier this week, I asked Elijah this question. I said, Elijah, if DJ Moore did not score fucking 300 yards and 4 touchdowns in one game, would you be asking me if you would start him every week? Or would you be less confident in starting DJ Moore if he had put up his average, a 7-point game that week? He's only put up 32 points in the last 3 weeks combined after that 50-point performance. And you do got Justin Fields returning to action potentially today, and a matchup against the Saints, a tough defense. It does not bode well for DJ Moore. Their defense has allowed the 3rd fewest points per game to perimeter wide receivers, where DJ Moore likes to play. So DJ Moore is definitely in for another struggle game. I'm also going to be staying away from Jordan Addison at the Falcons. You've heard me say it a couple times this week. I can't tell you how many Minnesota Vikings I actually trust at the current moment, especially with Kirk Cousins going down after Justin Jefferson went down. The only ones I'm really confident in is Alexander Mattison, a little bit due to the volume, and TJ Hawkinson is really the only Vikings that I feel comfortable putting in my starting lineup right now. Jordan Addison has got to hit the bench this week. The Falcons did just get smoked by D-Hop last week for 3 touchdowns. So it's not really a matchup-based thing. Like I said, I think it's the Minnesota Vikings. How good is their offense going to be? How often are they moving down the field? How often are you in scoring position? I think Addison will get enough volume to warrant you starting him in your flex position if you have to. But I'm staying away from Addison if I can. I'm also staying away from Hollywood Brown. You're looking at the rookie. I can't even remember his name at the current moment off the top of my head. Oh, it sounds like you're on the Seahawks radio, Dallas. Love you. Love you too, brother, man. Hollywood Brown has been putting up good totals these last few weeks, but I'm staying away from him. You got the rookie quarterback starting for the Arizona Cardinals, Clayton Tune. And he also has a brutal matchup today. So I definitely am going to be staying away from Hollywood Brown. Let me get in one of these comments really quick. Shouts out to Brittany Ponder. Nice to see you. We got a nice, tough race for first place right now. Who would have thought? Look at us. I mean, at least me. I don't know about. Of course, everybody thought you were going to be good, like you have been as always. But who would have thought I'd be up here right now, fighting for my life? The battle of the beasts right now, me versus Panic. Anyway, she says, do you think Puka is going to struggle without Matt Stafford? Now, I do think that Puka and Cooper Kupp are going to see a slight decrease in targets and efficiency as well. However, the volume that they're getting and this Sean McVay scheme, it's hard to deny what they receive. Now, I don't think that Puka and Cooper are going to be the badass wide receivers that they've been up to this point, especially Puka. But I do think that they're going to maintain the volume that they're receiving. I think that Cooper Kupp is probably going to actually take a step down a little bit right now to Puka Nacua. I feel more comfortable in Puka Nacua due to Cooper Kupp getting that double coverage, those number 1 cornerbacks on each defense. But I do think, like I said, that they're going to be seeing a slight tick down in numbers. You might have a lot less touchdown production, touchdown opportunity for both of them. However, they're both going to get good volume. I know we're not in a PPR league, but in PPR, you're going to be getting a lot of good things from Puka Nacua and Cooper Kupp. But I think you definitely still get a comfortable 8 points or more from Puka as far as his volume and his yards go. That's a great question. Thank you so much. You also got Miss Dysfunctional, said, good thing I just woke up. Just realized my flex, Amari Demercado, is out. Let me know if you need some help picking an option at a flex position. Oh, yeah, that's definitely a late one that just came in. I'm trying to remember right now. Let me see off the top of my head who that would be that's replacing him today. I gotta look it up here in a second. However, I definitely do know that we have a couple of pretty good sleeper options, a couple good flex options. Unfortunately, you missed those like Rashee Rice's this morning. But we do got some good options for you. So let me know kind of what you're looking at, what your options are, and I'll kind of let you know what I think is the best one that you got there for you. Getting back into the starters and sit-ems, like I said, I'm sitting Hollywood Brown. I'm sitting Christian Watson against the Rams, and I'm sitting Josh Downs against the Panthers. He's coming off of this injury. He's active today. However, the Panthers have been really tough against wide receivers, especially in Carolina for some reason. Carolina Panthers defense has been really on point against wide receivers, shutting them down. So I'm staying away from Josh Downs, staying away from Tyler Lockett. I'm staying away from Gabe Davis and KJ Osborne. Come on. Thank you so much for that, Don Clark. Kavonte Ingram is going to be the running back. I could not remember that name. Kavonte Ingram is going to be the running back replacing what's his name? Demercado. T. Higgins, Chris Godwin, or Jordan Addison in flex. I think that T. Higgins probably has the highest ceiling of all three of those players. You're looking at them playing the Buffalo Bills, looking at Joe Burrow getting his shit back together, looking at this Bengals offense kind of running on all cylinders. Elijah, let me know if you heard that DJ Moore comment a second ago. If not, I'll run through it again for you. Going back on that T. Higgins Godwin question, I like Chris Godwin. I think Chris Godwin gets decent volume today. However, I think that he's like a touchdown or bust player this week. I think he gets a good 74 yards. But if he doesn't score a touchdown, you're going to find yourself a little disappointed. I think T. Higgins is going to be massively involved in this offense. I think that T. Higgins is going, or Jamar Chase is going to be getting that double coverage, that number one cornerback protection. So Tyler Boyd and T. Higgins, I'm elevating a lot this week, especially in this matchup, how big it is. It's a marquee matchup in the NFL season. However, I'm sorry, I just saw B's comment. I'm going to get into it in a second. I definitely do like T. Higgins the most out of all three of them. Elijah said, doing great, bro. How are you? B said, don't be giving Elijah too much advice this week. I know Elijah, he's been getting a lot of advice from me. I'm not going to lie to you. I just know these last few weeks he's asked me if he should start DJ Moore or not. And I just wanted to let him know that I was saying I'm sitting DJ Moore. He's on my sit list this week. Addison, T. Higgins, and DJ Moore need my wide receiver 1 and 2. There you go. DJ Moore, I'm sitting this week. You heard me say what I said about T. Higgins. Jordan Addison, I mean, when you're looking between Addison and DJ Moore, I feel more comfortable, I suppose, in Addison because DJ Moore had that one spike week that's really kind of put him on your radar. Addison has had a really good season altogether, especially with Justin Jefferson going out. So you're looking at Addison going to be getting a crazy amount of volume, and you're looking at T. Higgins as well, going to be heavily involved in this game. So I'm excited about both of those wide receivers. Let me kind of get in to see because I know that we got those inactives and actives coming from the field from the teams here. If you guys did wake up this morning and see that Jalen Waddle injury, he had a knee injury early in the game, but he went out in that first drive. He's come back. He's been playing. I haven't been able to see exactly what points he's put up. I haven't been paying attention. I was preparing for the episode, but Jalen Waddle is back in and healthy, good to go at the current moment. I think that the Chiefs-Dolphins game is still 21-7. Last I heard, Raheem Mostert had scored that touchdown. Let me know if there's been any changes that I have not seen yet. I'm pulling up my startums and situms for my quarterbacks really fast. Give me 1 second. Anybody got any other questions going on this morning for their starting lineups? I know, like I've said a lot of times in these past few weeks, we definitely have hit that point of the season where every single win matters. When you're looking at whether you're at the bottom of your division, top of your division, right smack dab in the middle, you most likely want, or you're trying to win 3 of these next 4 games at minimum for your playoff push, whether you're fighting for the bye, whether you're fighting for the bracket in the first place altogether, whatever it is, you definitely need to get those wins. So let me know if you guys need any help. Drop those comments. Don't be afraid. We're going to dive into all of them. I'm waiting for my boy Jake Rings to get here because he dropped an amazing comment on my trade video the other day that I really am excited to get into. You guys have heard me talk about Joe Burrow. We're starting him this week. Burrow is back. I'm treating Joe Burrow like a top 5 quarterback for the remainder of the season. There's really not going to be many times you're going to see him on my stardom and sit-em list because of that. So we're not going to spend too much time talking about Joe Burrow. However, I am going to spend a little time talking about Dakota Dak Prescott from the Dallas Cowboys. I'm starting him this week again. I told y'all to start him last week, and he threw 4 touchdowns, put up 28 points, and now he's put up 24-plus points in 2 straight games, and he's facing the Eagles defense, who have been absolutely awful against the quarterback position. They've allowed 19-plus points to the position 4 times, including last week letting Sam Howell put up 32 motherfucking points on their heads. So I definitely like Dak Prescott as a comfortable start this week. I'm also feeling comfortable starting Derek Carr in a pinch due to injuries or bye weeks. He's been relatively productive these last few weeks. He scored 16-plus in the last 3 straight games, including 18 last week against the Colts. He's playing the Bears defense this week, who have allowed 18-plus points to 6 different quarterbacks, including 5 of those quarterbacks scoring 22 or more points. Derek Carr could mess around to be a top 12 quarterback this week. So if you need a quarterback to start Derek Carr. I'm also going to be starting Deshaun Watson against the Browns in a pinch. That's probably one of my last resort options, but I do feel comfortable starting CJ Stroud against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I'm going to be sitting Sam Howell. You heard me just talk about him in that great game, his career best game that he's ever had last week. Give me 1 second, pause for the cause. I'm getting a little pie. It's going to make it tough to sit Sam Howell this week after he put up 32 last week. But he's playing New England, and New England has been kind of tough on quarterbacks, especially in New England. They've only allowed one quarterback, including Jalen Hurts and some of the good quarterbacks they've played this season. They've only allowed one quarterback to beat them for more than 15 points this season. So Sam Howell, you just don't like the matchup this week, and that's why I'm staying away from him. Geno Smith, I talked about him last week, and if you remember me saying, he is who we thought he was. Geno Smith is back. Below average quarterback play is back. Don't let last year fool you. Don't buy into the hype. Geno Smith shouldn't even be on your motherfucking roster right now at the current moment. Remember last year's version of Fantasy Dreamland where Geno Smith was the 5th best quarterback in the league and one of the best surprises and saving people's lives off the waiver wire? That shit's done. It's back to what Ryan Tannehill is doing in Tennessee. Geno Smith is garbage. Shouldn't even be on your roster. Do not start him against the Ravens, and it's not a positive matchup either. Another person who shouldn't be on your roster, Daniel Jones, Danny Dimes, Vanilla Vic. Get the fuck out of here with that. He's been terrible the first 5 games of the season. He's coming off of an injury. He's on the worst offense, on the worst team in the NFL this season, and he's playing the Raiders defense, who has actually held quarterbacks to an average of fewer than 15 points this season. So Daniel Jones, don't even consider picking him up. I'm also going to be staying away from my boy, the Gardner Snake, Gardner Minshew. The Panthers have been tough against wide receivers and quarterbacks, and even Gardner Minshew's best games, I feel like have just been barely scratching the surface of fantasy relevance. So I really don't feel confident in starting Gardner Minshew today, so I'm staying away from him. I'm also staying away from Aiden O'Connell, Taylor Heineke, Baker Mayfield, and Zach Wilson. Staying away from all those quarterbacks today if I can afford it. There's got to be better options, probably including the ones that I just mentioned to you today. We're going to get into the running backs. Let me know if y'all need any tight ends, defenses, or kickers, because I'll skip right through them if I do not have to go through them. Let's see what we got going on in these comments. 21-14 Chiefs. Okay, so the Dolphins did score again. Nice. Godwin, Singletary, or Douglas for the Patriots for flex. I like Singletary, to be honest with you. I think he's the safest choice. Douglas, though, is one of those that I'm excited about. I would want to start Demario Douglas. However, the Patriots, kind of like what Kendrick Bourne, when the Patriots scored 20 or more points, Kendrick Bourne was a top 15 wide receiver. Do the Patriots score 20 or more points today? I highly doubt it. Devin Singletary feels like the safest option for me. She said she just dropped him. I am listening. I'm glad that you are here, tuned in and listening, my boy. Now let's see here. Going into the running backs, like I said, start of the week at running back for me, it's going to be Rachaad White. He's been on my sit list these last few weeks, a few weeks back. But these last few weeks, he's actually been pretty consistent and pretty comfortable start. He scored 33.8 combined points over the last 2 weeks, and a big part of that's been an increased role as a pass catcher in this offense. Now he's posted 13 catches on 13 targets, so you're looking at him probably going to have a few less catches to targets down the line, but he's being heavily involved in this passing offense. Now, the Texans, who they're playing, have allowed 8 running backs to beat them for 11 or more points, including 3 running backs that have beat them for 17 or more. So Rachaad White, I feel comfortable with him this week. Another person I feel extremely comfortable with, and my girlfriend is going to absolutely die when she hears this, Zach Moss. Zach the Pumpkin King. The Zach attack is got to be started this week. Jonathan Taylor, we're going to talk about it a little bit later in the betting section of this episode. However, the Panthers have been putrid against running backs this season, and the return of Jonathan Taylor has not been a death blow to Zach Moss's value. In fact, Zach Moss has scored 14-plus points in 2 of his last 3 games and continues to see 50-50, a damn near even snap share with Jonathan Taylor. No matter how good Jonathan Taylor is doing, it drives me fucking insane. But it's bringing longevity in for Jonathan Taylor, and we're playing well. We're the only team in the NFL that scored 20 more points. Back to Zach Moss. You're looking at this Carolina defense has been, for lack of better words, weak, soft, just absolutely horrible. I can't stand watching the Carolinas defense unless I have a running back playing against them. And if you have Zach Moss, start him. They've allowed 15 plus points to 6 running backs through 8 weeks this season. Zach Moss and Jonathan Taylor. I'll plug them both in if I have them both. I'm not going to lie to you. If I needed to, I wouldn't do it. If I wouldn't get that crazy. However, I like them both. Zach Moss, JT, smash them into your lineup today. I'm also liking Kareem Hunt. Drum Ford should definitely be in the starting conversation as well. But Kareem Hunt has definitely posted some strong totals in these last few weeks. He should remain in the running back 2 conversation this week. They play the Cardinals defense, sort of like what Zach Moss has got. They're giving up 13 points to 9 running backs this season. The Arizona Cardinals have been absolutely terrible, worse than the Carolina Panthers. And 4 of those running backs have beat them for more than 21, and 1 of them beat them for 48.7 points this season. So definitely start Kareem Hunt, definitely start Jerome Ford, and definitely get back on the Brian Robinson Jr. train. I had you off the last couple of weeks, and it was the perfect time to do it. He's definitely taken a hit over the last couple of weeks. He scored single digits in 3 of his last 4 games, but he's still a viable flex starter for you today. The Commanders travel north to play the New England Patriots, and as decent as they've been against quarterbacks, middle of the road as they've been against wide receivers, they've been bottom 10 against running backs. They've allowed 10 plus points to opposing running backs 7 times this season, and 3 have scored more than 18 points against them. I'm also going to be starting Darrell Henderson, Gus Edwards, James Cook, and Chuba Hubbard. Now, I want you to pay attention to that Chuba Hubbard start, because one of my sits at the running back position this week is going to be Miles Sanders against the Colts on that same team. Miles Sanders is useless in fantasy football right now, and you cannot tell me anything else besides that. At the end of the day, with 4 teams on a bye, all the injuries, I want absolutely nothing to do with Miles Sanders. I don't even want him close to my starting lineup. I don't even want to think that he might accidentally get started on my team today. Miles Sanders is useless. Now watch, Miles Sanders is going to score a touchdown today and make me regret saying all of this. However, you're looking at him coming back from the groin injury last week, playing behind Chuba Hubbard, and saw only 2 touches last week. Plus, the Colts defense has been pretty damn good against the run, above average against the run this season, top 12 defense against the run, and I'm keeping Miles Sanders on the sideline. I feel more comfortable starting Chuba Hubbard. I would happily start Chuba Hubbard. Miles Sanders, you got to do something for me to even want to put you on my team right now, because right now, I want to drop you. Can't lie to you. Now, other sits that we got going on this week, I'm going to be sitting Aaron Jones against the Rams. I'm done with the Packers, man. I'm not sure if it's his hamstring. I'm not sure if it's a terrible offense. I'm not sure if it's a terrible scheme. I'm not sure if it's a terrible color scheme. But Aaron Jones has been an absolute dud for most of the year. One of the most disappointing players altogether. He's losing work to A.J. Dillon, who, I mean, by the way, has been even just – if depression can come from a fantasy football handcuff, it would be A.J. Dillon. Because what the hell? Where did A.J. Dillon go? Who is this man that's running the ball behind Aaron Jones? Because it's not the A.J. Dillon that we've been used to. Even A.J. Dillon makes a shaky flex option. Aaron Jones is a shaky low-end RB3 this year, and I cannot do it. And you're also looking at them playing the Rams, who have allowed the 5th fewest points per game to running backs. Aaron Jones, please listen to me. Keep Aaron Jones far from your starting lineup this week. I'm also going to be sitting Alexander Mattison against the Falcons. Not much needs to be said. Like I said, going into the start of the episode, not many Vikings I trust at the current moment. I'm sitting Deontay Foreman against the Saints. You're looking at that backfield uncertainty. Justin Fields taking some of those carries back. Roshan Johnson coming back. How many running backs are splitting carries? I don't really want to start Deontay Foreman this week. Some other people I want to sit this week: Keontae Ingram, Tyler Algier, and aforementioned A.J. Dillon. All right? Sick of A.J. Dillon. Sick of the Packers. Don't trust the Vikings this week. That's going to do it for the startums and situms. I believe I should, at this point, have my actives and inactives. Puka Nacua is officially active. We already knew that. I haven't really gotten much news here this morning on my phone about the actives. What? Hold on. I just got a notification on my phone that I really want to see. I want to get into this with you guys. There's a public warning from the NFL about betting. I just want to see what this is about. Whoa. All right, so actually, it's not really like an official warning. It's more or less like an alert on what to pay attention to. Here are the top 5 most bet on spreads today. Rams plus 3.5, 77% of bettors have bet on that spread. Colts minus 2 points, 73% of bettors are hitting that spread. Bengals minus 2.5, 69%. Eagles minus 3, 66%, and Bucks plus 3, 62%. Those are the most bet on, the most what everybody feels like the most guaranteed bets for today. Don Clark said, dropped all my Packers players. That's probably the best thing that you can do for your mental health in 2023. Elijah says, whatever, Brittany. It seems like they got a pretty good matchup today. Like y'all heard me saying, I know I got the battle of the beasts with the highest scoring, best team in my league, in my big league this week. And he started with negative 0.01 on Thursday Night Football. But I've lost a game to my brother. Fuck you, by the way, Mike. I lost a game to my brother where he put up like negative 7 points on Thursday Night Football and still fucking won the game. It was one of those weeks where he had like 3 players put up 30 plus points on me. I put up 110 and still lost. It's one of the most hurtful losses I've taken this season, just due to the fact that I did everything I could to win. I would have beat most of the other people in the league, but he just got me at the end. I hope I play him again so that way I can get it. I'm loving these John Madden updates we're getting from Miss Dysfunctional. Waddle catch, Mostert carry. She knows how important that is for me in my fantasy football league. Doesn't seem like we're gonna get a Jake Rings today, so I'm just gonna dive into his question real fast. And I'm going to talk about it actually a lot next week as well on my trade episodes. So just real quick, give you guys the idea of what's going on here with Jake Rings. He said, I've been struggling these past couple weeks deciding what running back to go after for CeeDee Lamb. I have Amon-Ra, Chase, and A.J. Brown as well. So I've been looking to sell CeeDee Lamb. I'm 7-1. I think I'll get to buy. So I'm really just searching for a running back that will pop in the playoffs. My running backs are Kamara, Kenneth Walker, Ramondre, and James Cook. He did it again to me. He put K9, and I was like, who the fuck? For 1 second. So he said his running backs, Kamara, Kenneth Walker, Ramondre, and James Cook. I can understand Kamara, Kenneth Walker, they're both decent RB2s, but you feel like you want an RB1 off the top of my head without doing much research for you. And I swear to God, Jake, I'm diving into this as deep as I can for you this week, and I'm going to have a fantastic answer for you on Monday. But off the top of my head, the first person I can think of is Joe Mixon. And you wouldn't even have to give up CeeDee Lamb to get Joe Mixon. You could keep CeeDee Lamb and even potentially upgrade another position by getting Joe Mixon. You're looking at his remaining schedule. I believe it's like 4th best overall as far as running back matchups for Joe Mixon on the remainder of the year. The Bengals are getting their shit back together. And you're looking at Joe Mixon, the volume that he gets. He's an absolute workhorse. And like I said, you wouldn't even have to spend CeeDee Lamb value to get Joe Mixon. So I definitely like that a lot. Doesn't seem like we have a ton. Let me see here. It doesn't seem like we have a ton of inactives or anything that we didn't know about this week. Justin Fields is officially inactive. So that goes into what we were talking about earlier. Puka Nacua active. Quarterback Brett Rypien will start versus the Packers for the Rams. Jalen Waddle returned to the game. We knew that. Yeah, it doesn't look like there's much information that we didn't already know this morning. Let me dive into my Fantasy Life app real fast just to make sure that there's nothing new that I need to talk to you all about, and then we can get into some bets. What's everybody's record doing right now? If you're watching this, let me know your record in your most important league, or your best record if you're embarrassed by your most important league. Let's see. Drake London is inactive today. Patriots inactives. We already got that. Really, none of those matter. I do see that wide receiver Devontae Parker and wide receiver Keyshawn Boot are also injured for the New England Patriots, which really kind of increases my Demario Douglas love there. Ravens inactives versus the Seahawks. Doesn't seem like any fantasy relevant players. Texans inactives. Dameon Pierce is going to be out today. Looks like that's going to be it for that game. Justin Fields is out in the Bears game. We already knew that. In the Washington game, you're looking at Curtis Samuel, but who was really thinking about starting Curtis Samuel today? Like I said, there's not really many inactives that we didn't know about, not many actives that we were expecting. We have a lot of marquee matchups and things going on later in the afternoon. I think the beginning of the game is a lot of trap games, CJ Stroud or Deshaun Watson. I feel safer with CJ Stroud this week than Deshaun Watson just because Deshaun's coming off the injury. You saw how he was playing before the injury. CJ Stroud feels safer. They both seem to have a low ceiling, but I feel safer with CJ Stroud. Yeah, that's going to be it for today's inactives and inactives. The Hurt Business was nice and easy this week, and you love that. You hate when you get a ton of inactives in the middle of the week that just randomly pop up on you. So let me see here. It sucks because my betting app is on the phone that I am doing the live episode on here. So let me just wrap this episode up today. I'm going to give you guys my favorite picks for the morning games and my favorite picks for players to score touchdowns. As far as the morning games go, my favorite players to score touchdowns, Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas for the New Orleans Saints has had some bad luck as far as touchdowns go. He has not been able to. He's been one of the highest targeted red zone players in the NFL, but just has not been able to get into the end zone. So I do like him a lot this week. You're also liking the matchup. I think Michael Thomas really can get into the end zone today. I'm also liking the prop on Jonathan Taylor to score a touchdown today in the afternoon. Jonathan Taylor scoring a touchdown is definitely a line that I'm going to be putting in today. And then Zay Flowers for the Baltimore Ravens against the Seattle Seahawks. I definitely like him scoring a touchdown today as well. So there's a 3-leg parlay for you. You got Zay Flowers to score a touchdown anytime. Jonathan Taylor to score a touchdown anytime. And then also, what was the first one that I'd said? Michael Thomas from the New Orleans Saints to score a touchdown anytime. Those are my 3 favorite touchdowns in the early part of the day. Now, as far as the game lines go, I do like the Rams to upset the Packers in Green Bay. I like the Buccaneers to upset Houston in Houston. I like the Saints to beat Chicago in New Orleans. I like the Falcons to take the Vikings in Atlanta. Browns over the Cardinals in Cleveland. Ravens over the Seahawks in Baltimore. Commanders upsetting the Patriots in New England. Then I got the Colts beating the Panthers in Carolina. I got the Cowboys beating the Eagles in Philadelphia. Upset alert for you there. Then I got the I got the Raiders beating the Giants this afternoon as well. Bengals upset, or actually I think the Bengals now are the favorites, but Bengals I think take the game against the Buffalo Bills, and I do like the over 50.5 points on that as well. And then I like the Chargers over the Jets on Monday Night Football. Hopefully we can start to get some better primetime games in here. Sick of the NFL taking primetime games away from NFL teams just to schedule us games like we got on Thursday Night Football, because that shit was terrible. I'm sick of seeing teams like the Chicago Bears on Thursday Night Football. I'm sick of seeing teams like the Steelers on Thursday Night Football. If we're not going to let everybody have a primetime game, then take all the terrible teams off primetime, because there should be no reason I'm watching Justin Fields, the Chicago Bears, the Steelers. There should be no reason I watch any of that trash, the Cardinals, none of that on primetime if you're taking primetime games away from NFL teams. Make sure I don't got no more comments from y'all before we end this off. Thank y'all so much for hopping in today. Let's check out what y'all got with these records. Ms. Dysfunctional is 5-3 and 7-1. Good shit. Number 65, Jones from the Dolphins getting carted off. I did see that offensive lineman. And Elijah says, damn. Well, that's going to do it for y'all today, y'all. Episode went a little longer because I had to run into those startums and sit-ums. But let me know if y'all need any help. Drop them in the comments of either this video or one of my videos from last week, and I will answer them for you next week. As always, keep your chin up and your attitude all the way down. I'll see y'all next time. And I'm going to officially get up out of here, baby. Y'all have an absolutely amazing day. And I will see y'all on Tuesday's episode for what we learned and for our waiver wire pickups as well. Y'all have a good one, baby.